another Founder in Car, and today we will discuss being a father of children and also entailing in their needs, because everyone needs social contacts, everyone needs friends around them. So also if you're an entrepreneur, of course this is a nice thing because you can have more flexibility in your time. Oftentimes you work harder, but you can make it fit better to the agenda oftentimes of your children. But also try to do things together with them as much as you can, because they will grow and mature very quickly. And also if they have some good friends around them, this is a good thing in their life. So try to get other children to come visit them or help them to have a funny playful encounters, that you, for example, make a movie night for them that they can invite their friends to, or just a fun attraction or a day out, or let them do some gaming things. Children are oftentimes so easy, because nowadays if they have their games or their YouTube channels to watch some movies, they oftentimes are giggling their little asses off because they already are so entertained. And of course it's a good thing that you can have children playing outside, and that's still a good thing to chase after. But even if you can just invite them for a meal, you get something to eat for them, you can get them some fries or some snacks. It's quite easy, even if you're not able to cook for all their friends together. And when you made a party time, something like that, just get some French fries or some other snacks, and you're good to go. It's not that hard to entertain them, but it's very important to do so. Very important. And if they have good friends in their lives, they will also develop themselves in a good way. If they don't have friends in their lives, they will seek friends. And oftentimes they might seek friends that are not so, how do you say this? Inspiring or useful to them, might be even bad influence. So if they have friends that are okay, get to know their friends, and also talk to your children what is important in having a friend, and that way you teach them important skills. It's not only that they have good intellect or good entrepreneurial views. This is of course a good gift to give as a parent, but also look at their friends. And the friends can also become their network in the later stage. So it's important that they have a very nice childhood, as good as possible. And if you can do your thing, even if when you have had a busy week, just try to do this. Founder in Car, out. Founder in Car. So what if you want a cheap car that's fun and reliable, and you could give, for example, to your children as a first car, or sometimes you cannot give it, of course, but you perhaps advise it for your children to get, or you sponsor part of it. Mostly it's not that easy to just get another car just because your children are becoming a certain age. In the US this is a thing. Very often they are gifted, so I try to give you both versions. But there are some fun cars that you could still give your children, which have plenty of power to be entertaining, but are not that powerful that they could get in very serious trouble that easily. Of course you can get into trouble with even the slowest of cars, but I'm talking about cars that are at least warm to hot hatch capabilities, and it also means that they have better brakes than normal cars, better road holding ability, so they have, even if they do something silly, have a better chance of getting out of it in one piece. And those cars are often not that reliable because they are old. The cheap cars, and then you need a very reliable brand, or you need a little bit of a hot hatch secret to still be able to get for a decent price. So one of the cars that I would recommend is the Yaris Staysport, which is Toyota, very reliable, and oftentimes they're not that expensive yet. So they had 2 generations of Yaris Staysport, or T-Sport so to say. One had a 1.5 with 106 horsepower, was also the lightest version. It came as a 3-door and 5-door, and the latter incarnation had a detuned 1.8. So I thought it had something like 128 horsepower, whereas the same engine, the Celica, produced 140, and also in the MR2 of Toyota, so it's detuned. That's also a nice car. It's not that both are not that hot, but they are warm at least, and they're also, especially the first generation, is very light. Another car that's very close to the Yaris Staysport but a little bit hotter is the Suzuki Ignis Sport. It's more of a rally replica, also 1.5 liter engine, and has about 109 horsepower. In reality I think close to a 150, and extremely light. Very nice checkable car, also quite reliable, being a Suzuki, very reliable I think. And another car that is great as a first buy for a young enthusiast will be the Swift Sport Suzuki, also by Suzuki. The first incarnation had a 1.6 liter and I think 125 horsepower, and later versions, the second generation, 136 horsepower. And those are also very reliable, nice cars, and often also not that extremely expensive. If you go on a leap and you want something different, there are also other cars of course to consider. For example, a car that looks very nice but is not that reliable and I would not recommend, but is a very nice car. It's the car that we know as a Rover, but was also there as an MG, and the MG had the Rover had a 200 VI with a 1.8 liter engine, 143 horsepower up to 160 horsepower, and they also had MG versions thereof. I think the MG 200 PRM, etc. And those are very nice beginning models as well. They even come sometimes with a 1.4 with 95, 105 horsepower, or even a 1.6 and the same horsepower ballpark, and they look very hot, and they are more warmish type of warm hatch. Only the 143 and 160 horsepower version are quite fast. Car out.